All right, so my business is Backyard Broadheads. I make multi-function hangers and bipods for the Ravin crossbows. You can check that out at backyardbroadheads.com, and you can check out my YouTube channel, Backyard Broadheads. So this year, so far, it's late October. I shot 2 arrows with a crossbow and I got 2 deer, and I'm really happy about that. I did rush my first shot, but we'll talk about that in a second. Both shots ended up going into the deer's hearts. The first one, I had a 2-blade broadhead, didn't get the best blood trail. Second one, SWAT 4-blade mechanical broadhead, amazing blood trail. Let's go to the first one. So I'm up in the elevated blind, the Booner Thunderdome, and some deer come in far away, but they're coming towards me, and then all of a sudden I hear quads and a dog. So the neighbors are coming through. So they come through, spook the deer. Some point in that evening, I had a deer coming in on a big path and it jumped into the tall grass, pretty weird. Another deer comes in, jumps into the tall grass, pretty weird. Later on, those 2 deer come back. That's when the neighbor and the dogs spook them away. I think my night's over. Starting to get dark out. And then all of a sudden, a deer just runs in and it's on my left-hand side, which is a really tough spot for me to shoot at and tough for me to film. So I get everything repositioned. I had to get on my knees to shoot. I was shaky. I rushed my shot and I thought, oh crap, I screwed this up. So went back to the house, watched the video, came back down. A little bit of a tough blood trail, but the deer didn't go far. We did hit it in the heart and we did get it. So this is pre-hunt. We are going out to right about there. There is an elevated blind. Right, I'll put it in the middle, right there in the middle. And since I got 0 deer with a crossbow last year, I'm gonna potentially shoot the first deer I see, as long as it's not tiny. If it goes down, I might shoot another one. Once turkey comes in, I'm shooting the first turkey I see. Let's go. All right, I'm out here tonight in the Booner Thunderdome. Haven't gotten a deer yet this year. I didn't get a deer with a crossbow last year, so I'm going to try to shoot the first 2 doe that I see this year. And I'm not going to be picky about bucks if they're legal. So yeah, let's get started and then we'll go over the equipment and then we'll get quiet. So I do have the 4-in-1 light from Backyard Broadheads, my company, on the front there. I can rest that on my knee for cranking. Make sure you pay attention when you're cranking. All right, then let's check out the equipment. If you're loading a Ravin, you're going to want to hold it towards the front. And don't take your finger even on the field tip and push on the field tip. Just push on the arrow till you get that nice click. All right, so we have the Ravin R29X, Hawk scope, Tacticam on there. And on the bottom here we have, from my company, Backyard Broadheads, a 4-in-1 light, multi-function bipod. And I want you to check out the broadheads. So as far as arrows, we have Reaper FOC arrows from AJ's Custom Arrows, and we have a SWAT 4-blade. And the nice thing about these blades is that if they come out of position, they go back in magnetically. So that's the SWAT no strap 100 grain, and you can get that in a titanium ferrule also. So this was a monster buck that I recorded on a different day this season. I had no idea how big it was until maybe a week or 2 later when I watched it on the computer screen. All I had was a little stupid bleep call, which in my life has been completely useless. I'm never going to take it with me again. And what I should have done was just my own snort wheeze, because because you don't need any call to do that. And maybe this thing would have come in, and it's probably the biggest buck I've ever seen on our property. So new for this year, I'm testing out this ghillie mask, and I think it's going to work pretty well. I was using, starting in Turkey last year, just like a mosquito nest mask. But, you know, once it starts to get a little bit dark out, it's hard to see through those things. We have some black ones and some gray ones, and I was getting tired of those. So I wanted something where I could see, but I still want to be hidden. So these are the two deer that came out earlier, and they went into the tall grass. Then they came out again here, and one of them was starting to get close enough for me to aim at, but as you'll see in here, the neighbor was chasing down their dog and ended up spooking them off. With these simple bipods, when you have them set up properly, you can get a lot of stability out of them, and they're a lot easier to move around than the bog death grip style tripods whenever you have to reposition. So yeah, these guys heard the neighbors yelling, and they decided to take off. And I thought my night was over after that deer took off. But luckily, a little bit later, out of nowhere from the right, this deer shows up. And he's out to my left, which is difficult for filming. As you can see, I can barely film this deer. And also difficult for shooting because I have to completely reposition. I ended up getting out of my chair and standing on my knees to take a shot, and luckily that was a good elevation. It seemed like the deer heard that little safety click. I should have clicked it quieter, but it went right back to the feeding. So yeah, let's get set up for this shot here. I was shaky on the shot. I should have probably not even shot at all, but I thought, well, if I pull the trigger quickly while I'm on target, I'll be okay. And luckily I was, but that was a dumb move. I do have a ghillie hat now, so I'm kind of excited to use that setup, the ghillie mask with the hat. And that ghillie mask, even though it is thin, it does keep your ears a little bit warm. So that deer took off. Let's check out the shot here. Good reaction from the deer. Our shot from the ground. Me not being happy with my shot. A little bit of slow-mo, and it did go through the heart and exit through the far lung, at least, I do believe. I know it went through the heart. Love having these things on film. Great for knowing how soon to track when you have things filmed. Well, I just shot, and I rushed the shot. It didn't look awesome. I'm going to check it on the camera and maybe go check it at the house and decide what to do. Alright, so I went to the house, watched it on the computer screen. It looked like it had to have exited through the far lung. We tracked it. It didn't take that long to track. The deer didn't go far. Found it, got it field dressed. So on to the next one.